Good morning, everybody. So today I would like us just to review how to create an equation of a line for parallel and perpendicular lines, which is a little bit different, but also uses the same background knowledge as our regular finding equations of lines given certain pieces of information. So it's the same notes we've been working on, 10.4, and you'll just scroll down to the page that looks like what is up on the screen. So when I'm looking for parallel and perpendicular, I need some pieces of information, and the most important is about the slope. Parallel lines never intersect. We know that about them. So they're going to be running in the same direction as one another, but they're going to be made up of different points. And for two lines to be parallel, that means that they must have the same slope as each other. So if one equation's slope is 2, the parallel line also has to be 2. The difference will be their y-intercept. For perpendicular lines, they do intersect. So what happens when you think about what perpendicular lines look like, they cross. They're sometimes going in opposite directions, okay? So for a perpendicular line, their slopes are what we call negative reciprocals. So what does that mean? Well, if one slope is 3, the perpendicular slope is its reciprocal and negated. Okay, so we flip it. Same thing if our slope, let's say, is 2/3, the perpendicular slope would be 3/2 and negated. Once we figure out the slope, then it's similar to what we do when we're given slope and a point. We plug in that new m value into that slope-intercept equation, y equals mx plus b. We're going to plug in a pair of x and y values from the point that we might be given, and we solve for the intercept. Once I have the new slope for either parallel or perpendicular, and the new b for that new line, I rewrite it into my correct form, replacing the m and replacing the b. So we're going to look at a few, okay? So this is worksheet 10.4.3, and it is in your classwork section. If you can't find it, you can just add it into your notes, okay? But we're looking for two things, parallel and perpendicular here. So we're going to take the first equation, y equals negative 2x plus 4, and it's telling us it has a y-intercept of -8, so we don't have to do any kind of extra work here. All right, so because it's telling me that piece of information, all right, so let's look at the line we have. From that line, I know my slope is -2, and because of this piece of information, I know what the intercept needs to be. I don't have to do any extra work. So my parallel line is going to be y equals the same slope with the new intercept. Perpendicular is the negative reciprocal. So the negative reciprocal of -2 is positive 1/2. And it also has that same intercept, so I don't have to do any extra work here. Okay, number 4, just to skip down, okay, just so we see two separate ones. So for number 4, we have y equals 2x minus 8 as our equation, and we're passing through this point. All right, so let's establish. From my equation, my slope is 2. All right, so let's work on parallel first. Okay, so parallel needs same slope, and here's my point I'm working with. So everything's based off of y equals mx plus b. I'm going to plug in my y value. My slope has to be the same. I'm going to plug in that x, and I'm solving for b. So some quick math. And I'm going to get -6 is my b value. Okay, so parallel, y equals same slope with that new b value. perpendicular. Still going with y equals mx plus b. All right, so what do we have? We know our y value for going through the points, -4. My slope is the negative reciprocal 1/2 times that point, finding the intercept. -4 equal -1/2 plus b. This time we're going to add a 1/2 to both sides. All right, so -4 plus 1/2. Okay, mixed number or improper fraction might be easier. So -7/2 is our b value. So our perpendicular line is y equals that negative reciprocal slope with the new b value. Okay. Perpendicular is usually the little more difficult one because you have to worry about the negative reciprocals. So a lot of times the intercept may end up becoming a fraction. Okay, so that's where your calculator may come in handy. All right, so the remainder of class, you are going to the assignments in Schoology, but you're going to work on numbers 2, 3, 5, and 6. And then you could submit that worksheet to that homework assignment that's posted for May 23rd. Tomorrow we'll review a little bit of equations of lines and then continue with our graphing. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.